So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a little lawnmower here that a buddy of mine brought me over to try to make it run. He's got a bunch of lawnmowers that I work on for him, and I've probably worked on this one before. He lets them sit with old fuel in it, and it just clogs up the carburetor. So it's a real simple deal. I'm going to show you how you can take a carburetor off and real easily clean it, put some fresh fuel in it, get that lawnmower working perfect. So come along with me. So this is the lawnmower. It's a little lawn boy, 6.5 horsepower, self-propelled. I'm not sure what kind of carburetor it has on it. And once we get in it, we can tell if it needs to be replaced or rebuilt, if it's not really too gummed up. So we'll start taking it apart. I'm going to take the air cleaner off first. Man, look how dirty that is. Something he never does either is change filters on stuff like this. So we probably ought to change that out. I might take it and blow it out with some air. And I think to get better access, I'm going to take this top cover off. Oh, well, you know what? I do remember this one. I replaced the cord on this one not too long ago. I think what I'll try to do first is I'll try to put some fresh fuel in it, spray some carburetor spray in the carburetor, and see if I can get it to start up that way. Fuel smells fresh. Let's take it off the stand real quick. Okay, so it ran through that bearing rings and then it quit running. So even though there's fuel here, there's no shutoff valve on it. And now that it's run for a second, the fuel smells spoiled inside of that carburetor. So let's take this top off, take this cover off, and I'll show you how we clean that carburetor out. It's pretty simple. One thing I would suggest, if you're just kind of tinkering with stuff like this and you're not sure how it goes, take some pictures of it with your cell phone. That way you won't just revert back to the pictures to see where everything went. And this is a pretty intricate setup right here. Check this out. This is the choke. It's got a choke pull off like a car, so after it's the choke thermostat right over here on this side will take and rotate the choke closed when it's cold. And this engine won't run with that choke on closed completely. It just blocks all the air off. So it has a choke pull off right here to where when the engine starts it creates a vacuum and it pulls the choke, it pulls it open. Pretty elaborate for a lawnmower, but it's a pretty nice little engine. So I'm going to take a picture of that because I'm going to take this off. Take this fuel line off first. Before I take this line off, it feels pretty pliable. I've got a pair of pinchers that I'll pinch the hose down so it won't leak too much fuel. But I think I'll probably pull this off to the side and capture some of this fuel. I'm sure this smells spoiled. I'm sure that's the problem. Now that looks pretty clean and it doesn't smell terrible. So we'll look at the carburetor real quick. Alright, so I'd say first off, I'm going to take this gasket, see if I can get it off without damaging it. Just work it carefully. Now I think I want to spray this all down real good with carburetor spray first. This bottom bolt holds this float bowl. It's the bottom of the carburetor. It's got an O-ring gasket around here, and this little nut right here is a just a drain, so you could drain it out probably at the end of the season, that kind of thing. Doesn't look terrible. Float doesn't appear to be stuck. Now what I like to do on these, there's any passageway I see where fuel looks like it's going to flow, I make sure it's clear. Usually I'll take this jet that's down inside here out. I don't think I'm going to. Let's see if it comes up through the center. And it is. These little air bleed ports, I always spray them real good. That looks in really great shape. I'm not gonna mess with that. The float level looks right. If it was down here, or if it was laying closer down there, I would try to figure something out, but this is plastic, it's not adjustable. And that looks like it's operating properly. The inside of this is kind of crudded up. I'll clean it out real good. Use a little piece of Scotch-Brite pad. And as you're doing this, be ginger with these gaskets. Unless you've got a spare one laying around. Otherwise you'll have to buy a kit. Put some gaskets in it. choke assembly. Choke pull off. Got your vacuum hose down here for the choke pull off. Put it back on. And I think what I'll do is I'll just take it and leave all this air filter assembly off to start it. Just put these bolts on here. I went ahead and strained all that fuel out. I'm going to put some fresh fuel in it. I went the other day to here in Fort Worth, Tarrant County. They do not sell any non-ethanol fuel here in Tarrant County. So the other day I went to Denton, just north of Fort Worth, and picked up 5 gallons of non-ethanol fuel, and I'll put some of that in here. It'll sure make it run a lot better, run a lot longer. It's nice one full, not bad. I'll take this stuff off, put the air filter back on, and we'll go mow a little bit, see how she works. For right now, I just blew this air filter out. I'll probably stop by the parts house tomorrow and go get another one. You can get them anywhere. Walmart probably has them. O'Reilly, AutoZone. So for right now, I'm going to put it back in here. And we're going to go mow. Well, that'll about do it for that video, guys. A couple of tips here on doing those lawnmower engines like that. Use a good carburetor spray, a good quality, something like Behrman's B12. It always seems to work better than anything else. And I didn't used to wear gloves when I would be spraying that stuff, but I've got to tell you more these days I do. When I'm spraying carburetor spray or brake cleaner, I use some rubber gloves on it. The third tip would be is don't do this when it's 100 degrees outside, because it is hot here in Texas in late July. So anyway, I'm going to call it a day on this one, guys, and I'm going to crack me open a cold beer, and we'll see you next time on Steve's Restorations.